Hello everyone and welcome back. We're going to be jumping into game 2 now. It's going to be on Daybreak, so it should be a pretty good game. I love this map, definitely one of my favorite two-player maps in the scene. We know that, of course, Machine is up 1-0 right now, so let's see if EG.iNcontroL can start to make a comeback, or if Machine is just going to push that even further. Again, apologies for showing my XSplit while I do this. I want to try to get the overlay set up with the correct score, and I don't have like hotkeys to be able to do that. And I don't have my dual screens set up just yet. Oh, it's the wrong score again. Well, sorry guys. I didn't set up those graphics, and I couldn't double check them without spoiling myself. So I'm just gonna leave it at 0-0 rather than show the wrong score. Sorry about that. But it is 1-0 for Machine right now. If you're just joining us, he had an excellent game on Antigua Shipyard, defended 3 base despite all the early aggression from EG.iNcontroL with some multiple cannon rushes as well as really early void rays. Just some really solid defense. A lot of it probably came down to that Overlord scouting at the fact that EG.iNcontroL did not have a natural at that point yet. Looks like we're going to be seeing Forge expansion. Looks like this time EG.iNcontroL opting to go for the Nexus wall off as opposed to the full choke point wall off. Well, taking a note out of Huck's book here, or the millions of Protosses that do it one way or another. Advantages and disadvantages to each, but they're both certainly viable at this point in the game. In terms of the game understanding and everything, it's pretty much interpreted as a stylistic choice by players. But on certain maps, of course, different setups can be better. On Daybreak, the choke point is relatively small, so you can wall that off, but it's so close to your Nexus anyways that some people are just going to say, well, why not just do the Nexus wall off, and it can be just a little bit more efficient. But we're going to, of course, see that pool first. Machine is on 14 as opposed to the 15 we were seeing Idro throw down his pools on. Just slightly less economical, just a little bit more standard. And we do see the Forge first from EG.iNcontroL, so, I mean, this is his style. We'll almost definitely see him set up that cannon rush. This time he's not going to, of course, miss that drone moving down in the natural. I mean, last time it didn't have the minerals anyways, but you want to make sure he was there in time. Does drop that pylon. Just barely blocking that hatchery. And he goes and checks the third as well. We do have a drone scout coming out from Machine, though. Check up on EG.iNcontrol's timing here. I would love to see a hatchery made here. It's one of the great ways to counter people that are cannon rushing you. Like, they have to build cannons back at home instead of at you to be able to deal with your hatchery rush. I've seen a lot of players be really successful with that type of build, especially if you like make a queen and drop a creep tumor, then they can't take their expansion. But drones being pulled out to take out this cannon rush. Of course, if you catch the cannon as it starts, 3 drones can pick it off, but otherwise you're generally going to need 4. Oh, and he gets the probe! That is huge right now, but he's got to get on this other cannon! What is he doing? Machine a little bit flustered, maybe paying attention to his hatchery rush that he was trying to do there. Oh, maybe he was trying to do the cancel to drop like an Evo chamber to go ahead and get the broodlings, but unfortunately didn't get it up, and now he's going to get a probe kill. Oh, not quite. Nice pull there by EG.iNcontroL. Oh no, he loses the drone, and meanwhile, oh no, this is awful for Machine right now. Did not quite have his drones attacking early enough, and now he has allowed the cannon to finish. That was so close. If he had actually had those drones attacking the whole time, he could have stopped that cannon from finishing. So unfortunate. But you know, it's not the biggest deal. It's just going to delay his hatchery a little bit because he has to send his queen out to, take some damage and then send his lings in. Oh, is he going to send the lings in first? No, yeah, definitely send that queen in first. Eat up some of that damage. Oh, look at this probe sneaking out. Does Machine notice it? It is in his vision. It's not going to be hard to notice a little blip like that on the map just for a moment. Oh, he did notice it maybe? No? Yeah, he's sending a ling over. He was about to send all of his lings out, and he sends one over instead to find that probe. Third hatch does go down. Excuse me, second hatch. No gas. He hasn't actually taken this out yet, so no, he's not going to go for the cannon. Just going to use the queen to pick off the pylon. Definitely a more efficient way to go about it. Wondering what he's planning on doing with these lings, though. I'm surprised he didn't, try to maybe, I don't know, run around to the natural and, maybe punish EG.iNcontroL if he didn't quite have perfect cannon positioning. Pylon's going to be taken out. We'll see a third hatchery get dropped down here from Machine. And it is going to be 3 hatch, no gas. And now we can take out that cannon, of course. Unfortunately, Frank. Oh, it does get. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, he totally has. You can see that hatchery going up, and a forward pylon is actually hidden up here in the top left. This ling has not found that yet. So, as we have seen many times before, EG.iNcontroL, whenever you can get a forward pylon up hidden, he will absolutely go for it, and he will punish you for it. So, if Machine doesn't find that, could be in some trouble. These types of 3 hatch before gas builds, especially when your next hatchery is over at the 3rd. They could just be really hard to defend against early all-in. So we do see that double gas is up for EG.iNcontroL. No 3rd or 4th yet, though, so not going to be, or less likely to be a Stargate opener. And no +1 either, so I'm very curious what his plan is here to try to deny this 3rd, because He doesn't know for absolute. Oh my god, it is going to be Stargate play. Wow, we almost never see players go for Stargate off 2 gas. So maybe he's just going to go Stargate Zealot as opposed to being able to tech out of it. Maybe he's not going to, build as much, just make like 1 Void Ray and go for a bunch of Zealots. There's +1. But the timing, I mean, this isn't really what you see. This isn't like the +1 Zealot Void Ray build that we see all the time. That one you start +1 much earlier, and then you get your Stargate out, Chrono at that Warp Gate, and try to get a 4 Pylon Chrono out to be able to get as many Zealots out there as possible with that 1 or 2 Void Rays, and then of course into Phoenixes. So it's a slightly different timing here. We'll see how well it works out for him though. He is continuously making Zealots, so that will help out once he gets that +1 done. But definitely needs to spend a lot of that Chrono probably on +1. Looks like he's going to spend it on his Void Ray instead. The +1 is definitely going to be the slowest timing here. That and Warp Gate, of course. But maybe we'll just try to be aggressive just with the Void Rays. We'll see how well Machine is prepared against that. He does have double gas up. No Evo Chamber just yet, though. You gotta be careful. Already at that 8-minute mark. Getting somewhat close. Want to have those spores up by like 9-minute mark. At like the latest, usually, if you want to be safe against any type of attack from your opponent. Depending on what types of timings you see from them on their gas. I mean, he sees with this Overlord, no gas. So that's got to be the reason he's, didn't throw up an Evo Chamber really quickly. With no gas seen there, it's like, oh, are you just going for an early gateway timing? I guess you're not going to go Stargate or DT or anything like that. So Machine might get thrown off guard by that play. This is definitely 4-gate. 4-gate +1 Zealot Void Ray, though. It's just the timing is just ever so slightly different from what we usually see the Koreans go for. And oh, the forward pylon was found. That is such a huge deal, unless this Void Ray can stop these Lings from killing it. But I doubt it. He should be able to target fire down the pylon and kill that off pretty easily. Without the forward pylon, this build becomes so much less effective. He does have another one on the way, but it's absolutely crucial. If you can, as a Zerg player, if you can stop the forward pylons from going down, literally this build is like worthless. It will never kill the Zerg if you can, prevent any forward pylons from getting put down. So it's just absolutely crucial that EG.iNcontroL is able to keep moving these pylons forward. So you can start warping in those Zealots. There's the first 4 Zealots warped in, so Machine was unable to find that pylon. Now it's going to be quite a bit harder to defend. He does have a Spore and 2 Queens here, but look at 11 drones on the way. Even... Did he? I thought, yeah, even though his Roach Horn's done. So, ooh, that is a huge risk to take to make those drones. I mean, you already have drones at your 3rd. You really don't need to be that greedy and go for that much economy, unfortunately. You really need to be making Roaches at this stage of the game, especially if you saw that late gas at your opponent's natural. So, I'm pretty worried for Machine right now. 3 Roaches on the way, but I don't know if that'll be enough. All these +1 Zealots, Lings are just not going to cut it against +1 Zealots. Sorry, that's just the way it works. If you have +1 and the Zerg does not, or the Protoss has +1 and the Zerg does not, then obviously you're just going to be 2-shotting Lings with Zealots. So this is going to be rough. The Roaches are now out, but it's only a couple of them. The Void Ray should be able to target down the Queens and then pick off every Roach that they want. You gotta be careful with those Spore positionings. Nice, he does pull back. Zealot's doing quite a bit of damage. A good position for Machine to fall back here, but he needs to use that mineral glitch with those drones. They're all kind of running around in the back. Roaches are coming out. There's the mineral glitch to get through there, but actually not using it to attack, just using it to escape, and it looks like he's just going to be forced to sacrifice the 3rd. Excellent by EG.iNcontroL. That's exactly what you need with this build. You don't need to kill the Zerg. The entire, like 100% of the goal is to kill the 3rd, and more importantly, kill the 3rd in a gas-efficient manner. And what I mean by that is that you don't want to be, like, a lot of all-ins, like 7-gate blink, and you'll make like 8 sentries or something. You don't want to be throwing away a lot of gas to do this. You want to be just throwing away minerals to take out your opponent's 3rd. You don't want to lose your Void Rays. Oh, unfortunately, you lost 1 Void Ray. Zealots engaging into Roaches. Roaches need to be kited. Roaches are actually not efficient. Zealots actually beat Roaches in a one-on-one battle, guys, unless you're kiting back. So the fact that Machine's not microing right now, unfortunately, might just cause him this engagement. Maybe he was just microing a little bit too hard with those Queens. And now he's going to lose all of his Roaches. And this may actually just be GG. This is usually not a build that ends up killing your opponent. It's usually just designed to kill the 3rd. But if you see that your opponent has Roaches that late and they've lost a lot of their Queens to the attack, then why not move forward and try to actually be aggressive? And that probably caught Machine off guard. Not many Protosses, after taking out the 3rd, continue to attack. Most of them do fall back and just go take a 3rd of their own. Now he is starting to lose these Void Rays, so you have to be careful. You want to keep that utility so you can have the map control, so you can still hold on the Zug on the towers later on. Because obviously the game's not going to instantly end. It might, yeah, Machine might be at a big disadvantage, but the game's not going to be over, so you still want to have that utility to build out that map control later on in the game. Looks like, what a bizarre location for EG.iNcontroL to take his 3rd. He's sitting with a lot of cannons over here, but you know what? Look at that! Machine has a Ling over here at the 3 o'clock, and none at 12 o'clock, not even an Overlord, so this actually could prove to be an extremely wise decision. If Machine just doesn't scout it out, he's not going to be able to actually, pressure it or punish it. And, to have your Roaches sitting around, it's like, oh, the cannons aren't up yet, but he doesn't know that. So it's like, oh, now the cannons are up. Well, now he's not going to be able to actually punish or, pressure this base. So even though EG.iNcontroL had a pretty small army, it was pretty secure in that decision. Now he's up to 8 sentries, so he's going to have a very nice amount of force fields as he builds up the energy on those. He's just in a very, very solid position. The third is coming back up from Machine, but to have your third be later than the Protoss third, I think every Zerg will agree that's just not ideal for Zerg at all. Generally, you want to have your third coming up earlier than the Protoss, not even at the same time, let alone later, of course, since he did get it taken out. I'd love to see that creep, of course, connect those bases and go into the center of the map as well, but he's just under a lot of pressure right now. 3 mutas on the way, so he's kind of going for mutas as a bit of a desperation move. He's only going to have 7 total at this point, so I mean, to only have that many mutas is generally not that effective. But maybe it'll catch his opponent off guard. Oh, not anymore though. The Voidru will be taken out by these mutas. Nice marker to pull away the muta that was getting hurt. Unfortunately, couldn't stop the Voidru from getting charged though. But that means EG.iNcontroL now knows what he's up against. Blink has been started. We should see cannons get set up in every mineral line. Yeah, there's 3 over at the natural. Great positioning behind the mineral line. If you just put them like in the mineral line, someone will like go behind it. They'll run around. That kind of limits your opponent's options a little bit more. Just 2 cannons in the main. And he's got a bunch of stalkers over there as well. And of course, he already has all these cannons at the third. You have to be careful. I mean, he's coming into a a little bit of a dangerous position here. But it looks like Machine actually just might try to attack. I think he's definitely scouted that base, so he knows about it. I'm surprised he doesn't try to like harass it with his mutas or something. But if he tries to attack, I don't think it'll work out well for him at all, unless we see a really botched force field setup from EG.iNcontroL. I mean, with 8 sentries and 3 immortals, this is. We've seen it more and more recently that this is the way that Protoss players are dealing with roaches. Instead of going for a lot of stalkers, they just go sentry immortal, and with good force fields and immortals, there's just not much you can do with roaches. So even if you do have burrow, and Muta's coming in the main, but this is exactly what I was talking about in that game with Idra. The cannons are there. There's the GD called up. The cannons are there to buy you time. Yes, the Muta's are going to kill off the cannons, but they buy you time for you to get your stalkers over there. And he has realized after doing that there's just not much he's going to be able to do. He's got some roaches over here, but I mean the immortals would have taken it out. So. EG.iNcontroL is now even it up to 1-1, guys.